Hey there, Carl Munson here. Should I say boa tarde to the hola, boa tarde to the Good Morning Portugal podcast. And today's theme and vocabulary is fruit-based. And I'm just taking refuge in the attic, the relatively cooler attic. It's 33 degrees outside. Some autumn, this is turning out to be, I'm not complaining, it's just a bit of a surprise and takes a little bit of getting used to. This unseasonably, in terms of UK seasons, unseasonably hot time. So yeah, fruit today, inspired by a little foray / forage out with the kids this morning. We're homeschooling our kids. And I was on duty this morning and suggested we go out for a bit of a walk because my son, Digby, was trying to get me to buy figs in the supermarket. And it seems a bit of a crime at this time of year to buy figs when they're going rotten on trees all over the place in Portugal. Beautiful figs here. We had some lovely figs at the first place we stayed at in central Portugal this time last year. Absolutely delicious and so wonderful to eat off the tree. So I said, no, you can't buy figs. We're going to go and find some. So today's homeschool foray was to look for figs, but sadly we drew a blank. But we did find one or two grapes. Now, borrowing grapes from the grapevines is called chinchada. In the UK we call it scrumping, don't we, where you borrow fruit from other people's trees, and there's all sorts of kind of technicalities, aren't there? If it's like overhanging the highway or your garden, it's fair game. We didn't trespass on anyone's private property, I hasten to add, but a nice little colloquialism there, vernacular vocabulary, chinchada, and that's thanks to Katia Lima beyond Lisbon, who in a recent social media post was talking about soft, sweet figs are among my favourite summer fruits. She says they're also a classic of the Portuguese summer, and for many of us, the tastiest figs are the ones taken straight from the tree. Technically, she says, it's not stealing, we call it chinchada. These ones were bought, and a lovely picture of some figs that she's posted up. So we went out, and Digby and I have got this method, special chinchada method, where as tourists, I put him up on my shoulders because he gets a bit weary. I lean against a wall or a fence as if to take a photograph or to take to take rest, not west, to take a little bit of a pause. And as he's on my shoulders, he plucks the plump and ripe fruit from the overhanging vine or tree. And we saw a few grapes this morning. We saw some apples on the floor, to be fair, going rotten, quite an abundance. And I'll just give you the words, the Portuguese words for these things now. Shall we see if the lady from Google wants to help us today? Let's see what she has to say. Come on, you. Where are you?
Figos, maçãs, uvas.
Figos, maçãs, and uvas. So figos, fairly straightforward, isn't it? Figs. Maçãs is apples, and uvas is grapes. Okay. Chinchada is scrumping. And one thing to bear in mind with maçãs is that there's a long A sound on maçã. If you say massa rather than maçã, you can end up with pasta. Which might be okay, but it might also be a bit of a surprise if you order a massa pie, for example, massa empada. I guess you would think it might be an apple pie, but you might end up with a pasta pie, which would be an absolute treat for someone who's fond of their carbs. But one way of remembering it possibly is there's a brand in Portugal called Massa Alcabaça. And as a family, we love Alcabaça and we say massa from Alcabaça, but it's actually massa from Alcabaça would be one way of remembering that. So the long A on massa for apples. So there you go. Figos, maçãs and uvas here on the Good Morning Portugal podcast. And chinchada is the contraband, in inverted commas, fruit that you might borrow from a local tree. And now is the time over here in Portugal to be really enjoying the figs. I heard someone the other day saying they've got 3 trees full of them. And fig jam is something that we've tried here and absolutely loved as well. So, Carl Munson signing off for the Good Morning Portugal podcast. Anything you want me to pursue, let me know in terms of vocabulary, the adventure and the culture. Take care and até breve. See you soon.